What's up, everybody? It's Bear. Taking a break from doing the things out here today. Homemade gummy bear. It's a little warm out here today. You know, there was a popular show. I don't know if it's still on TV or not because I don't watch TV. There was a popular show back in the day, a few years ago, where a large television production company took people and put them on an island or out in the wilderness by themselves. In fact, the season 1 winner of that particular show, I believe, is a fan of this show. What's up, Alan? Appreciate you. On 3, I believe, is the channel where you can find Alan, also featured on Survival Dispatch, our friends over at Survival Dispatch. Alan K, good guy. And I have it on good authority. Mr. K and his friend, the Angry American, like to watch the Bear Show from time to time. So, what's up, brothers? But you know, this show would take people, put them out of the middle of nowhere, alone, by themselves. And the real challenge with that show is not which knife I'm gonna bring or what kind of nylon sill tarp I want, or do I want a pot to collect water or a single wall stainless bottle. It's mental. It's not really you versus the environment. It's you versus you. I watched a good bit of that show back in the day with my son, and I would always point out when people started to break. Season 1, there was a guy who within the first 48 hours started with this mantra of, I didn't come out here to be bear food. No, you came out here to win the damn show. Survive as long as you can. That's what I would have been telling myself. You're right, I didn't come out here to be bear food. See, you can take that statement and go either direction with it. I didn't come out here to be bear food, or I didn't come out here to be bear food, right? But people start talking themselves out of whatever goal they had in mind. They can't hack it. They're alone. I believe Alan said in that first season, you've got to really like yourself to be alone in the wilderness for any length of time. I agree. But it makes me think in the broader sense of what we do from a preparedness standpoint. The value or lack thereof of being alone. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of y'all in the Bear Nation that wish they had people. What was that movie, Grumpy Old Men? You can wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one gets filled up first. Yeah. Hopes and dreams mean nothing without action. And I guess that's the point of today's video. You have to take action to not be alone. You have to take action, period. If you are alone, action is still required. But the ideal state of people is not to be alone. That's why it's a challenge on that show, on that major TV network, to be alone for that long. Again, those contestants aren't competing against nature per se. They're competing against themselves. There's a reason we punish people by putting them in solitary confinement. It is not good that man should be alone. I shall make him a helpmeet. The creator of the universe knew this. We're not designed to be alone. It taxes us. It can in many ways make us less than human or something other than human. And so blatantly, you need people. You know you need people. You know I'm going to tell you you need people. We recently announced on a live stream that we did, a few weeks ago, the 4 pillars of preparedness. One of which is people. People, number 1. Provisions, number 2. Protection, number 3. And number 4, productivity. You need people. See, a life should be worth living. And maybe you live alone in a cabin on the side of a mountain, but you got some good neighbors. Good. Foster those relationships. Maybe you've only got one best friend in the whole world. Good. Foster that relationship. Maybe you can count on one hand the number of people you trust. Good. Foster those relationships. I'd rather, 4 quarters philosophy. I'd rather have 4 quarters in my pocket than 100 pennies. They're worth the same, but 100 pennies is a pain in the ass. 4 quarters has some real value, right? I'd rather have 4 good people than 100 questionable people. Yeah, they might have some worth printed on them, but do they have any inherent value? Like a penny? No. People is what allows us to engage in specialized labor. The commo guy, the security people, the animal husbandry people, the agriculture people, the firewood people. I'm a chainsaw guy. I've been a chainsaw guy my whole life. I've been a chainsaw guy in whatever mutual assistance group, MAG, or team I find myself on. Chainsaws, heavy equipment, timber, firewood, lumber, milling now, carpentry. See this thing right here? Me and brothers built this. See that gazebo? Did that with a chainsaw. Me and my wife and my son stood those uprights up. 8 of them in an hour. I made that ridge beam with a chainsaw with 400 pounds. Got it up there by myself because on that day I didn't have people, but I wanted them that day. Specialization of labor. You need people to specialize in labor. You need people to maintain normalcy for the people that you love and you're responsible for. Your wife, your kids, your grandparents, your best friends, your friends from church, your whatever. See, it comes down to continuity of community. I had somebody ask me recently, what's the point of all this? What are we supposed to be doing 5 years into SHTF? Living, brother, living. Perpetuating normalcy for the people that you love. See, this thing we call modern society, it's new. 100 years old, maybe a couple 100 years old in certain parts of the world, certain parts of our country. But people have existed for thousands of years. And they've existed in tribes, in clans, in villages for thousands of years. You get the occasional loner, but that occasional loner has always had eyes on them. There's always been a bit of skepticism there. You need to work on continuity of community. Community takes people. See, I can't make the world behave. It's not gonna anyway. Prophesied in the word. The world doesn't behave. Never has, never will. Why get wrapped around the axles about that? I can't make, on a federal level, the country behave. We're too big, and we've taken for granted too many of our liberties. We have abused the blood of men and women who have died for this country. Too many of us as a federal society don't value what we have. I can't fix that. But I can be strong and positive in my community. With my people here, we can create little fiefdoms, little pockets of independence and wealth and self-dependency and righteousness, little pockets of freedom everywhere. It takes people to do that. One man or woman very rarely accomplishes great things. There's always a team. Even if that one person is somebody like Steve Jobs didn't make the iPhone. He had a team of guys and girls that built that thing, right? There's always a team. And it takes people. It's kind of sad to me that there's so many people in the preparedness space that have gotten okay with, have made their peace with simply being alone, without realizing that being alone is not your ideal state. That's why those people on that show win $500,000 when they see whoever can be alone the longest. Why would you voluntarily subject yourself to that? Now I get it, people are messy, people are difficult, people are challenging. They can be the worst thing about life, but they can also be the best thing about life. And you need to build that team now. Now while you can. I've said before, and I mean it, not only am I not recruiting now, I'm certainly not recruiting when the balloon goes up, because I don't know you. And I'm not going to compromise my vetting process simply because the world has ended to bring you into my camp if you're a good person. Which means you got to make those connections now. You got to do the hard things now. You have to build meaningful relationships with people now. And I know it's scary. And what if I get OPSEC'd and I know where all my stuff is? Mitigate, bro. Mitigate. You don't have to show people what color your panties are on the first date. I mean, you need to build they're relationships. They're not one-night stands, okay? Don't be alone. That is not our ideal state. It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet. I appreciate y'all, Bear Nation. Hit me in the comments. Shalom.